This is The Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government and Professor Mutahi Ngunyi. This Sunday, we discern a heavy air of change. Something is happening to Mother Kenya, but we have no idea what it is. All we know is that a rebirth is coming, and country is pregnant with expectation. We're like an old eagle in its 40s and 50s. At this age, an eagle is tired. Its talons are overgrown. They are wasted and weak, and they cannot grip prey. Its beak is dull and bent. It cannot pick or peck. Its body is overgrown with feathers, and they're heavy, sticky, and useless. The eagle cannot fly. In this state, the eagle has only two options: to wither away and die, or to seek rebirth through pain. And this is the option we have as a country. After the shaky election of 2017, our choices are two: to seek rebirth through pain, or to wither away and die. But here is our national tragedy. We are yet to decide which of the two choices are suitable for country. Allow us to explain.
Now we will consider the path of pain. Between the ages of 40 and 50, an eagle will either die or renew itself through sheer willpower. To renew itself, it retreats to the mountaintops alone. While there, it plucks out its heavy and sticky feathers. Then it plucks out the weak and wasted talons from its feet. And lastly, it knocks off its old and crooked beak by banging it against a rock until it comes out. At this point, the eagle is vulnerable and in excruciating pain. In this state, it has to wait for its feathers, beak, and talons to grow back. And as it lays in wait, other eagles fly above it, scaring off predators and bringing it food. With time, the feathers grow back, the talons pop out stronger and sharper. Then a fresh beak emerges from its deformed face. At this point, the eagle is as good as new. It experiences a rebirth. Although painful, the old becomes new, and it is worth it. It can live for another 50 years. In our view, this is where Kenya is today. Although painful, we are experiencing a rebirth.
Kenya is a 50-year-old eagle that is too heavy to fly. And the choice before us is to either kill it without trying or to seek rebirth. We can either go up the mountaintop to pluck out our talons and break our beak, or do nothing. In our view, we have no choice but to take the path of pain. We must shed off the old and take on the new. If tribal dominance worked in the past, this is part of the old. We must shed it off and take on the new. If Raila Odinga was a rebel without a cause, this is part of the old. We must see him now as an innovator whose methods were just rusty and Russian. If the Chief Justice could never have nullified a presidential election, this is old news. We must shed it off. Now we know that a Chief Justice can send a president home. Whether we like it or not, this is our reality. Without realizing it, the country has gone to the mountaintop. It is plucking out its feathers, removing its talons, and breaking its beak against the rock. The rebirth is happening.
Today, I will not play the devil's advocate. I agree that every beautiful thing in the world is brought to life through pain, and that a painful rebirth is inevitable for Kenya. Because of this, I will make two observations. One, at the Fifth Estate, Maraga is not a hero. We do not understand him, and we are not persuaded that he should be the Chief Justice. However, we have asked ourselves some questions lately. If Kenya is going through a painful rebirth, like the eagle, is it possible that Maraga is the catalyst for this change? And are we attacking the messenger instead of his message? Is Maraga the doctor who will cure the wounds of the eagle after it removes its feathers, talons, and beak? 2.
If we have to shut off the old and take on the new, are there some truths we have not admitted to ourselves? Is the Kikuyu Kalenjin dominance viable until thine kingdom come? In our view, this dominance should end. And yes, the Kikuyus will support William Ruto to become president. But Ruto must unite the country. He must end this fellowship of the dominant too.
But how shall we end the Kikuyu Kalenjin dominance in future? NASA tried to end it through the 2017 election. It failed. And this is because constitutional change is the only way to fix this anomaly. Our constitution is like the version of the Holy Bible released by King Charles in the year 1631. This Bible contained several errors, but one was particularly inspired. The word "not" had been omitted from the seventh commandment. This allowed Christians, quoting from the highest authority, to commit adultery. And the Bible became very popular, especially in rural England. In fact, the seventh commandment recorded the highest levels of compliance ever. By the time the error was discovered, much damage had been done. King Charles had to recall all the 1,000 copies of this Bible that were in circulation. The Christians protested, but the king had to do what the king had to do. What is our point here? Like these Christians who took advantage of an error in the Bible, we all know that our constitution is a comedy of errors. If the country is to experience rebirth, we must recall this constitution like King Charles did and correct the errors.
Now that the election is over, we can talk honestly about country. And as a young lawyer, I am disturbed by a constitution that does not work. Yet, we are afraid of changing it. But I am even more disturbed by our hypocrisy as a country. Since we adopted this Katiba Mbichi, we have pretended that all is well. Yet, beneath the skin of the nation, many questions are swept underground without answers. For instance, the Constitution guarantees power to the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin nations till thy kingdom come. Is this right? Should we pretend that this is not an error that needs correcting? Similarly, the Constitution gives powers to 4 unelected judges to overturn the decision of 19 million voters. Is this right? Should 4 unelected judges, who are not angels from heaven, have so much powers? If the country is crying for a rebirth, it is because of constitutional confusion. And the tragedy is that NASA is right and Jubilee is right. Their fight is not between a right and a wrong. They are both right and confused. And this is because of errors in the Constitution.
Now that elections are over, we can stop lying to one another. We can speak truth to our current moment without feeling judged. And we must do so because after the election, we are not bound by sides. We are Kenyans by choice. And we are Kenyans for the next 5 years at zero option. This is why I will speak my own truth to the situation that we are in right now. I do not think Raila Odinga is altogether wrong. His methods are wrong, right? But they are wrong because his choices are few. In my view, we should show some grace towards Raila Odinga. The way Uhuru Kenyatta has shown him a lot of grace. You know, Raila was born during the Second World War. He's even older than the United Nations by 9 months. This man was there when God created the world as we know it. Surely he deserves some respect. However, he will never become president of Kenya. It is over for him. Now he is nothing but a dinosaur in our Jurassic Park of politics. But his daughter, Winnie Odinga, will become the first woman president of Kenya after William Ruto. And you can take that to the bank as a prediction and borrow a loan using it.
And now, our final thought. Elections are over, and we can be frank with each other. Like the old eagle, we must seek renewal by doing painful things to ourselves. We must go to the mountaintop and pluck out the things that do not work. And if every beautiful thing is brought to life through pain, we must begin by asking the painful questions. 1. Is it right for the Gema and Kalenjin nations to dominate our politics in turns? And because William Ruto will become president in 2022, is it right for a Kikuyu to inherit him in 2032? In our view, this is not right. 2. Is our constitution the problem? And the answer is yes. In our view, this constitution will take us to war. Like the eagle on the mountaintop, it is one of the things we must pluck out. We must change it. 3. Who said that the position of Prime Minister is bad? Just because Raila got it through blood does not mean it is a bad idea going forward. In our view, what we need is a return to a diluted version of the Kofi Annan formula by 2022.